Evening and welcome to the Protective Services Committee meeting for today, August 13th, 2024. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Legislature,
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Legislator Sage.
Present.
Legislator Adenizio.
Present.
Chairwoman Nasarino.
Present. Agenda item number 3 is acceptance of the Protective Services meeting minutes for June 18th, 2024. Motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 4 is approval of fund transfer 22-3 funds for Bureau of Emergency Services temporary line for county fire instructors to train for the remainder of 2024. Commissioner Lipton, Deputy Commissioner Bill, would you like to come forward, please?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So this is a request in the amount of $20,000 for year-end, throughout year-end. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you're merely just moving it from the radio communications line to the temporary line?
correct. We just fund the instructors for the rest of the year.
How many instructors are there?
I don't have the count off the top of my head, but we enlist a pool of instructors. We have a pool of county fire instructors and state fire instructors, so there's quite a few. And whatever class needs XYZ fire instructors, they're on for the night, or they're on for a certain class. And what's happening, I think you guys spoke about it once before, with the new standards that are coming up. We're now having to have more fire instructors at every single class. So more fire instructors means more dollars going
Yeah.
out.
Any questions from anyone on the committee? It's pretty straightforward. Any questions from any of the legislators? Any questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, there being none, I will make a motion to approve this transfer in the amount of $20,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 4 is an update for approval to request to create the rescue task force. We have a resolution here before us tonight. The commission and I met a few weeks ago and discussed this. There were some outstanding questions. We covered those questions. There is no memorandum of agreement needed between the municipalities and the county. The team members will be insured by the respective fire departments. I think we cleared up most of the questions, and we took a second look at the resolution and revised it accordingly. If you want to just embellish a little bit, just anything you want to bring forward?
No, I think it's easier just, whatever questions you had. I know I was on vacation, so I wasn't able to be here last time. So you just wanted, well, let me just start how the whole system works. Let's just go over it, 1, 2, 3, get it done with. We're creating a rescue task force. It's going to be a county team, and it's made up of members. When we create a team, then it's staffed by members of the volunteer fire departments and ambulances. So the first step that needs to be done is we need to create a team for the volunteers to join. You can't join first and then create a team. So we're here creating a team first. The whole thing with the team is covered under General Municipal Law 209-BB, which states that by resolution after a public hearing, the governing body of each county, city, and town is authorized respectively to establish maintain, and supervise a municipal-wide and intermunicipal specialized teams. So the county has the right to create a team, and that's what we're doing. We're just creating a team. Under Section C of General Municipal Law 209BB, it states that municipalities and organizations that ensure volunteer firefighters, volunteer ambulance workers, or municipal employees as termed employees is defined under Public Officers Law, subsection 18, defense and indemnification of officers and employees of public entities, may extend such insurance coverage to members of a specialized team by resolution. So once Bob Lipton wants to join the hazmat team, I go to my fire department because the county has put together a hazmat team. Bob Lipton wants to join the hazmat team. I go to my fire department, go to my chief, say I'd like to join the hazmat team. He says, great, Bob, no problem. He then brings it to the town, so I get put on the town rolls by resolution that I belong to the team. This way I'm covered by the department's insurance. And that's the way we've done it. We have the fire police team, we have the hazmat team, we have the tech rescue team, we have the communications team, we have the fire investigation team. This is just another team that we want to create. And that's basically how it's done. Members from the ambulance and fire departments join our team, and we set forward putting people in charge of the team, put them in charge of training. They train the people, and we get authorized to respond to calls. We respond under the fire department. So if there is a call for this team, God help us, there's an incident at the Carmel High School, and Carmel High School has a shooter situation. They're gonna, in any kind of situation like that, the fire department is gonna be notified anyway. We go to all of that. So once the fire department is notified, this team will then go out because the fire department has officially been notified. This team can now officially respond. One last comment, this is a county team. Being that it's a county team, we respond to any and all calls for service throughout the county from any agency that requires this service.
So one thing we need to mention, that the essence of this team is for these members of this team to help victims or people in danger while law enforcement can do their job.
Correct.
So that's
correct.
the mission
Law
of the team.
enforcement is going to be the first one on the scene. They are going to stabilize the scene. They are going to do what they have to do. The rescue task force, the job of the rescue task force is once the police department says it's safe, they've cordoned off an area that they can move people in, the rescue task force, their only job is to go in there, get victims, and get them out. And this way they can start triage and start delivering them to hospitals or wherever they need to go. That's the only job of the team. And the important thing about this team is, and once again, I hate to say it, this is something that we need to be prepared for. And we need to get going on it now. You guys, last time and a year ago, we met with Mike Carney, who we created as the captain of the team. He's got a great plan. He's already broken the county down into quadrants. The fire departments and ambulances have all been notified. And they're already moving on seeing who's interested, who would like to join the team. He's got a way to make the team move within the quadrants, and he's got a great plan. He's really thought it out, and yeah, we would really like to see this get moving.
It's a very important function,
Yeah.
and I'd like to give accolades to Mike Carney for this initiative forward and has worked very hard, and I'm happy to see that it's coming to fruition because it really is essential, no matter what the emergency is. We're not just talking
Right.
about, God forbid, a school shooting. There could be a fire, children could be in the house still, or there could be victims that need to be carried out, and law enforcement is trying to do something else at the same time, or whatever the matter may be. Any imminent dangerous situation, there's a call for this. There's
Correct.
a call for this. So one of the outstanding things that we reviewed and discussed was the need for a public hearing. And it was determined at the outcome that it would be the legislature that would, we went back and forth, whether it's the administration, it's the legislature, but it is the legislature that will set the public hearing. So tonight, if there's any other questions or discussions, but ultimately I'm prepared to move this forward to the full in September, contingent upon that public hearing being held before the full meeting, because that's vital. So, that being said, any other comments?
I just have a question regarding who has ultimate authority of the scene? Say, for example, with your, possible school shooting. So when the law enforcement gets there, who's controlling that scene and giving you guys instructions on, okay, it's okay to move into the building? Is this the sheriff's department,
That's all
police department?
Yeah, the law enforcement, whatever law enforcement agency is on scene, they have jurisdiction over that scene. We follow what they ask us to do. We're just there to assist and help the officers. The officers on the scene are gonna have plenty of other things to do. I mean, their focus is on stopping this, whatever's happening, getting to it and stopping it immediately, and then securing the scene. While these guys, once they secure the scene, they let us know, then these guys can go in there and rescue people, and the police officers can continue with what they have to do.
So you get to the scene and you're like staging,
Correct.
while waiting for instructions from law enforcement
Correct.
to determine where and when you
Yep.
approach the scene or take victims out.
Just that, Brown? Thank you.
So, I know in SRT there's different levels, or ERT standardized throughout the country. Is there something similar with this type of rescue task force? With a certain amount of people, it puts you in different brackets? And how many people do you guys intend on having? Do you have like criteria that you want to meet? Is there something you're going off of to kind of like a model that you're going off of to base what your end game is here?
Yeah, Mike Carney based it off of a model. I'm not sure, I can't talk for him. I don't know what model he based it off of, but he did come to a conclusion of this is how many people we need to make this work. And without this many people, you need X amount of people. You just can't have 2 people show up and say, we're here, we can get this done. No, we can't get the job done with 2 people. So there is a model that he went by. I don't know exactly what it is off the top of my head. He's the guy to speak about that, on how he's got the whole thing. But he's really got a great plan sketched out. It's not that, say something happened here at Carmel, and we're broken down into quadrants, so the Carmel team is in charge of that. He's got all 4 quadrants moving, because you don't know how many people are gonna show up out of Carmel. You may get 2 or 3 guys, and you need 6 minimum. So he's got the quadrant from Brewster moving at the same time. Everybody's still converging on the scene.
So minimum would be 6,
I
or is that
don't-
just
I
a number?
don't-
Okay.
that's
Is there any
something-
way you'd be able to provide us with that model?
I can get hold of Mike.
That would be wonderful.
Once this is passed and finalized, we will invite Mike Carney to give us an update, and he'll
Yeah,
walk us
he would
through all the
gladly do that.
logistics. And I know when he came the last time, he was still in the recruitment stages. He was
Yeah.
still soliciting for volunteers to help and to sign on, so I'm sure his plan is well developed at this stage, and we will have him back here to give the legislature an update. Any
I know
other?
I just one other comment, I know there's a lot of interest in the fire departments and the
Well, that's
ambulances.
great.
They're really stepping up to the plate. They're,
That's more the merrier because then, you know, not.
I have my department meeting, I can talk to it, it's fun, I have my department meeting
Mhm.
as soon as I get out of here. And that's one of the things they're doing, is they're seeing what the interest is from RPF. And I know
That's great, because not
probably
everybody's available at every single time,
Right.
so when you have that,
who's working, who works
Right.
nights, who works
It's
days,
important to have
who's on
enough people to
vacation,
rely on.
who's doing this, who's doing that.
what's those do?
I just have another question regarding communication. I mean, I'm just thinking of the recent assassination attempt with our former president, and part of the problem there, I think, was a breakdown in communication between the law enforcement agencies, between the higher ups and the local law enforcement. So I'm just wondering, is the radio project going to be? I mean, is there going to be plenty of communication between law enforcement, all of the different volunteer fire departments?
Certainly
between,
hope so.
because that's part of the
The
radio
radio
project.
project is moving along very well at this point. It's really picked up a lot of steam. By the end of this month, we're expecting the eighth tower to come online. We expect by September 1st, testing of the system to begin. There is there's six frequencies we have now, and they're looking at even expanding that, but it's more than what's needed for Putnam County.
And that was a big red flag for me when I heard breakdown in communication, like, oh no. Hopefully our radio project will help.
Speaking of that, I just have a question, maybe the sheriff can answer it as well. The question was raised when he approved the mutual aid with Westchester for the radios in the vehicles, whether or not they would be compatible or the interoperability would be countywide. Can you address that, Sheriff?
Yes, I can. In the current P25 radio project, you have banks, and then in the bank you have frequencies, channels, different channels. And they're set up based on some geographic need. With that being said, there are priority channels that everyone can go to. Everyone will have in their radio, so that if, for instance, we say go to Bank 3, Channel 8, everybody has that. We can come back and forth with everybody, law enforcement, EMS, and fire on that. So that solidifies the comm problem that Legislator Sage is concerned about. It's a matter of learning it for the agencies. Once everyone goes live, we start field testing this, which should happen hopefully early September, which will be fine. And then the second part of your question was?
Whether the radios that were approved for
Oh,
the mutual aid
yeah.
plan are compatible and interoperable with the radio project itself and the radios that are being
That's a
dispatched.
common plan between Putnam and Westchester. It's more on the law enforcement side, and it's more operational. So there will be some channels there that law enforcement will be able to utilize should additional units from out of areas show up. But what you get into, one of your first questions was about incident command. So there's an incident commander in charge of the whole scene. He or she has a deputy incident commander, and then if you're, depending upon the scenario that you're involved in, you can set up a multi-area command, which would have different components: fire, EMS, highway department, DPW, different entities would be in that scenario, and they would report back to the incident commander, who would make decisions based on the intel and information that's provided to him or her.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
yet, what's the?
I just wanted to ask, you said there would be plenty of frequencies with the radio project moving along. I think at the last meeting we were told that we were bringing on the separate radios because we ran out of channels and frequencies. There weren't enough. Can you clarify on that, or?
I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure Undersheriff,
Is that-
the Undersheriff said that they ran out of channels, that's why we were getting the secondary ones. Because I had asked with the phase 2 trunk system, aren't we able to communicate from here to Albany, so to speak, why we were bringing them on? And the interoperability, and he said, honestly, the channels had just run out, people were buying them up, and there weren't frequencies available for secured channels and things of that nature.
I wasn't present, so I'm not 100% able to recall what he stated, but that mutual aid plan for those radios deals with Westchester and Putnam. Even though everyone's on the trunk lines system, it doesn't mean you have access at that point in time to their radio frequencies. This would give common frequencies for operational and tactical usage that you could count on. These are primarily portable units. There is one that I know of, fixed unit that will go in BES, so they can communicate through that.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. At this time, I would like to make a motion to approve the resolutions to create the rescue task force contingent upon a public hearing be set prior to the full September meeting. Diana, if you could
Yes.
coordinate that?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
A second, all in favor? Okay, bravo. I'm happy to see this moving forward. Thank you for coming out.
Happy birthday to me.
Okay, at this
I
time,
know,
I'd like
It's the
to
same
make a
thing.
motion to adjourn.
Second that one?
Second.
Okay, thank you.